Hi, everyone. Welcome to this Facebook Live update. We've got a lot to talk about, a lot of storms that are coming our way. We've obviously started the stream. I'll tell you what, it's really hard to do all of this stuff and have that 10 o'clock newscast. I'm soloing it. Aleshley was doing an amazing job today. So we're going to start off with something kind of fun. We've got a free subscription to Call NextGen. Call NextGen is a service that we provide. We're the only TV station in the market that provides this, by the way. And Call NextGen is a warning service, okay? So it is the best. Now, I had all this set up initially, and then I had to reboot all the computers, and then I'm in the middle of doing the Fox newscast, the KNWA newscast. There's a lot going on. So we've got two severe weather potentials tomorrow morning and evening, and then we got another round of storms that's going to be very possible as we go into our Friday system. It looks pretty stout. So yes, rain is very likely. Rain is on the table. We've got a lot of thunderstorm activity. It starts as early as tomorrow, by the way, so heads up on that. We've got storms that are going to be pretty likely. Now, here's what we're going to do. This is going to be fun. I'm going to show you initially what Call NextGen is. We're going to play a little video. After this video plays, you're going to be able to get a free subscription of Call NextGen. Now, this is a little over $1 a month, especially if you get lightning data. And this is going to give you peace of mind. I think, honestly, it's the best alerting service you could possibly get. So, first of all, without further ado, here's what we're going to do. I am going to show you this. This is Call NextGen right here, so I know you can see this. This is something that we've had over the last several years, and they have increased it and made it even better. And so this is little information about Call NextGen. Are you tired of being surprised by dangerous weather? Other weather apps and services just don't cut it. They miss the mark on life-saving alerts. Introducing Call NextGen. We are a service, not an app, and we monitor your reported location 24/7, 365. Credited with saving numerous lives since 2008. When the National Weather Service issues weather warnings, it's very simple. You are either in or out of the warning area. This is the only service that delivers warnings for National Weather Service severe weather threats and exclusive alerts for the most dangerous weather, like confirmed tornadoes, tornado emergencies, flash flood emergencies, extreme severe thunderstorm warnings, particularly dangerous watches. And for the most extreme threats, I will call you on the phone. This is the Weather Call difference. This is KNWA and Fox 24 Chief Meteorologist Dan Scoff. The National Weather Service has issued a confirmed tornado warning for your immediate location. We offer lightning threat and all clear notifications free of charge. No more app confusion or inaccurate warnings from distant weather sources. All this for just $15 a year. Call NextGen. Serious weather, serious warnings. Sign up now. All right, so that kind of shows you what it's got. Now, you can tell me, did the audio play on that? Sometimes you don't know if audio is playing. Maybe you might have been able to hear it, hopefully really well. What I'm going to do is I am going to give you that link. And for those that did not win Call NextGen, now is the time, because here's the deal. We've got a lot of severe weather potential over the next several days. And honestly, our weather pattern could get pretty active as we get into next week too, as well. Very cool that you heard it fine. So I'm posting the link to sign up. Now, for those that are watching and you want to win something, no, it's not the lottery. I know some people won the Powerball in Arkansas. That was actually pretty cool. So you will have your chance to win Call NextGen. All you have to do is to comment #WeatherCall. And for those that jumped on the stream right away, then you got your chance. We'll leave this up for a little bit. #WeatherCall. As soon as you do that, we'll be able to gather all of the information. We'll let you know exactly how many people are in the entry, and then we're going to do the drawing, and we'll do that towards the very end. So we appreciate you. We're already having 4 entries. So, and then when you win for that lucky winner, well, what we're going to do is we're going to, I'm going to send you a QR code along with an access code, and that will allow you to sign up. Now, remember, that is site-specific warning information. Super, super cool. So that gives you an idea of what we're going to do. Now, why are we talking about all this weather call NextGen stuff? Well, because that's one of the best ways to be alerted for storms. Let's show you real quick what exactly that means. And as we take a look here, weather call NextGen information. So first of all, this gives you hyper-local alerts. So it's calls, texts, only if you're in the path within the polygon of the storm. There are not many services that provide that when it's basically if you're out of the warning. Now, obviously, I'll pop this off here real quick. You can see weather call services. Let's see how many people we have. 64 entries already. So we appreciate you guys for that. Weather call NextGen also gives you those tornado confirmation calls. Sometimes a tornado warning is issued and it gets upgraded to an observed tornado, such as a debris signature on the radar or a spotter report, or they have damage reports. That helps you see where those confirmed tornadoes are, and it'll alert you of that. Extreme severe thunderstorm alerts. This tells you of storms with hurricane force winds or golf ball size hail. That will give you a call. For severe thunderstorm warnings, it will give you texts and emails, but it only really calls you to let you know, hey, something is brewing and it could be potentially impacting your life. Calls to landline phones too. How huge is that? You get an app, you can't call landline phones. This does it for you. So you can scan that QR code. You can take a snapshot of that. That'll allow you to get weather call NextGen. All right, now that we've covered all that, again, if you want to win, I'm going to keep this up on the screen. Just type weather call in the comments for your chance to win a free subscription of weather call NextGen. Very, very cool. There should be some captions available. If you go ahead and pop into some of the live stream, there could be an auto captioning for some of the live streams. I would love to know about that, though. That's good. We definitely have to adhere to the hearing impaired. But all right, let's talk about, first of all, severe weather risk. Now, I did several newscasts tonight and a lot of wealth of information. So here's what we're going to do. If you didn't get to see the newscast, we're going to go through that. Then we'll dive in a little bit more. We'll look at the individual threats, and then we're going to have some people. Remember, you got to put hashtag weather call, not just weather call. It's got to be the hashtag weather call. So Adam, I'm seeing you. Richard Evans, I'm seeing you. You got to have hashtag weather call, just to let you know. Man, how many giveaways? We have 93 entries already. Very, very cool. Got to love free stuff, right? Let's get to the radar here and show you that we do have some pop-up shower and storm activity. And so there you go. Yeah, you can press the ... and then turn on captions. And so that gives you caption information. Man, that's great information. Appreciate that. So here's a look at what we've got with live radar. There's the energy coming in, and this is the beginning stages of a very, very active weather pattern. So first of all, we're starting to see that southwest flow. Now, why aren't these storms popping up yet? Well, the reason they're not popping up because they're not intense. So we're going to take a look here at the energy that's off to the west. So we've got the upper level support that's moving into southeastern Colorado. And check this out. You can actually see it right here. Here's the upper level support. Here's the spin in the atmosphere. Look at the lift over Denver. So this is some pretty impressive lift that's moving southeastward. And there's going to be additional energy that starts to move in from the southwest. In fact, I will show you just to kind of lay the ground, and then we're going to dive into the timing, the location, the threats, all that stuff. So just bear with me on this. Here's a look at the vorticity and spin of this storm system. So first of all, you'll see the system that's coming in overnight tonight and into the morning. That's this system right here that's moving in from the southwest. So I'm going to point it out for you on the screen here as we animate this. So there it is. We'll go back here to the beginning, and you can see this system right here. This is the upper level support. Notice the energy that's coming out from Texas and Oklahoma. That's making its way eastward, and that's going to bring thunderstorms tomorrow morning and then again tomorrow evening. So we've got some active weather. Thunderstorms and supercells developing overnight tonight in southwest Kansas, northwest Oklahoma. We'll take a look at that here in just a bit because there's something new with the thunderstorm, the conditional intensity groups. Now, the system on Friday, it's got a lot of energy. However, the energy is kind of subtle. See how it's kind of lagging back? And this kind of tells me that maybe that storm activity will be a little bit farther west on Friday. However, still some subtle energy moving in that will probably provide some storms, and we will have plenty of instability. And then you'll notice that we've got Baja Blast next week. This system will be moving eastward. That's going to bring a big-time severe weather threat for Tuesday into Wednesday of next week, but that's a long ways out. So let's kind of discuss more of the shorter-term forecast. Okay, did you know that the Storm Prediction Center upgraded and basically updated how they provide severe weather risks? So this is the day one convective outlook. This basically goes until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, and you'll notice a pretty large marginal threat. What's interesting is we look back at the radar, and there is absolutely nothing going on, except look at what's happening. Here comes the upper level support. Here comes the lift, and you can see some showers and storms starting to develop over the Texas Panhandle as well as the eastern Texas Panhandle. So this is the energy that's coming in. More energy going to be moving through. But this is what I think is kind of interesting. So this is where we were talking about the weather blog and the different convective outlooks. Now, how many of you, I want to know by a show of comments, how many of you are just seeing this for the first time, essentially, the new convective outlooks or the new risk, and you don't know much about it, you haven't heard much about it, and you're like, I'm confused, I don't understand this. Let me see by a show of, not a show of hands, but basically you can comment. Let me know if you're very well aware of this or if this is something totally brand new to you. So you can comment away and let me know. I'm going to show this. This is our blog that we wrote all about the Storm Prediction Center changing their outlooks. And there's a lot of really cool information that Aleshli, Davion, and I put together. And what's really cool is you can look at the previous risks. Has wording. It has a little bit. It's a little bit tougher to see. It's got a bunch of stuff on it. Let me go over here. So this is the previous risk. You can see how it's labeled. The newer risks are a lot cleaner. I do like the map projections a little bit easier to read too. I think a lot of the stuff is some really good upgrades. But then there's these things called tornado outlooks and intensities, what we call conditional intensity groups. So this is something brand new that the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center is doing. And then you'll notice those intensity levels correspond with basically the maximum expected strength of a tornado. Then you've got wind outlooks, and then we'll go to the hail outlook. So the hail outlook used to look like this, just a giant, massive hatched area. You didn't know which area was the most significant, and they had to basically have over 10% and 15%. They were tied to a specific amount. Well, if we look at intensity level 1 for hail, that means a supercell environment with the largest hail greater than 2 inches. So now let's go back to, if I could find my thing here. Oh, did it not load? It didn't add to the stage. My bad. All right. So that should have automatically loaded to the stage, but it in fact didn't. And I don't know why. Okay, let me go back to this. We're going to go back to the weather blog. This should have loaded. There we go. So let me go back to the very beginning because you couldn't see any of that. So that hatched area essentially was for hail. And you can look at this blog, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to post the link. But this really tells you and gives you an understanding on, number one, the conditional intensity group for tornadoes, the conditional intensity group for wind, the breakdown of that, as you can see right here on the screen. And you can see us interviewing the Storm Prediction Center Deputy Director, Bill Bunting. This was back on February 12th to get ready in anticipation for these outlooks. But this is the one that was first issued, SIG 1 for hail. So this is how it previously looked. Just a large area, which means 10% greater probability of 2-inch size hail. But now we can look at this, and this is how the new conditional intensity groups are going to look. So you can see it's got an intensity 1 and intensity 2. If we scroll down here intensity level below 1 means that basically mostly the hail will be under 2 inches in diameter. However, because of the environment, there's a potential for supercells and supercells to develop overnight tonight. So that'll be something that we will definitely have to watch. So now, here's what we've got. We're going to remove that. We're going to go back to our graphics, max 2, and there you get to see that hatched area. So that hatched area tells you that there is a potential for supercells to develop tonight. Basically in that northwest Oklahoma, south central Kansas, but everywhere else, the hail potential is kind of small. I really think you're going to like this. And another thing too is I've got some really cool Storm Prediction Center timing graphics that not many people have, and we're going to be able to share those with you because I know a lot of people want to know timing. We've got these awesome graphics that will really help you understand the severe weather timing. So I'm bringing this up. Like I said, I had all this stuff loaded before, but then I had to close the computer. And the reason for that is because I had to reboot everything to make sure it's all good. But let's go ahead and we'll let this load. And I'm going to show you what we've got. So we're going back to max full. Here's what we've got with the conditional intensity groups. I know a lot of it is kind of small. The screen is super tiny. I know. Some of the screen can be tiny. But that's why you want to look at that blog. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to post that information on here for the weather blog. So here's the information for the blog. Yeah. So there is what we've got with the outlook. And so there's the outlook. There's the hatched area. That tells you a supercell environment is possible tonight through 6 a.m. And by the way, if you're reading that scroll, the ticker across the bottom, if you do hashtag weather call, that will allow you to have the potential to win a free weather call NexGen subscription. We're giving one away tonight. And so that's what we're going to see. So I'm going to hide that. For those that are on here, let's see how many entries we have. 111. So 111. You got a minimal chance, but we'll do that here towards the end of this live stream. Okay, so there's a look at that hatch area. Now, as we get into day 2, the convective outlook, you're going to notice that the timing of this is 6 a.m. Wednesday to 6 a.m. Thursday. Is there any type of SIG with this, meaning conditional intensity group? Well, let's find out. Let's look at the day 2 tornado risk. Now, this is a large area. In my opinion, I think it's a little too large. I do believe this is going to be broken down a little bit more. Again, I'm going to show you all the timing on this, but I think this is going to be more focused in the River Valley, honestly, with the newest update, and I'll show you the reason why. The hail potential, or the damaging wind, excuse me, you've got 15%, and that means, if you're wondering exactly what that means, is you got essentially 15% of seeing wind damage of 58 miles an hour or greater, which makes a thunderstorm severe, within 25 miles of a point. So basically, if you pick any location, you got a 15% chance of seeing a severe weather report within that yellow shaded area. But notice how there's no conditional intensity group. So it's not expected to be a major wind event. It's also not expected to be really, really strong storms. Let's go back and take a look at the hail threat and see if there's any SIG hail. There's nothing for SIG hail. So these storms on Wednesday, yes, they're going to provide a lot of rain. Yes, they'll bring severe weather potential, but it tells you that maybe the threat of these storms might not be as great as what's expected on Thursday, because Thursday, you're going to see some information. Now, we also made this graphic too. This graphic is a little small. I'm going to take the camera off the screen, but the tornado threat, obviously very low, but it is there, and it does cover the entire area. And I'm going to do something else here real quick. New tab, and open a new tab. All right. If we look at the large hail, this is quarter size hail, And this includes basically the entire weather coverage area. And the farther northwest you go, the lesser the threat because it's a less of a percentage, so a less of a probability. And then you got damaging wind potential up to 60 miles per hour. So not really any type of SIG groups on all three of those. And I know that's small. There's really nothing else I could do. I could make it a little bit bigger, and I'm still working with that. But if we do, in fact, make this full screen, you can see it. You can see it okay. There's the different probabilities. There's the different percentages. There's the different outlines. All that stuff is basically kind of showing what we've got. So let me go back to our minimize, close that. There we go. All right. So now, this is what I wanted to show you, and I think you're going to like this, guys. So a lot of people ask about timing, making sure that this is sharing. No, it doesn't automatically share, so that's not good. Normally, it automatically shares. So this is a look at the timing, and this is a graphic that the Storm Prediction Center provides. We have access to it. So this is for Fayetteville. You're wanting to know when is the greatest risk for storms and severe weather. So if we go to this, you're going to notice that, number one, we can zoom in on it. And so you're looking at the tornado potential. Now, this is the probability, all right? We're talking really low. Remember, that probability was only 2%, but it's not zero. So that means that something could happen. And the most likely time if we do have a tornado in Fayetteville, which is not very likely, but it's possible, it would be as early as basically 12 p.m., noon, and it would go as late about 10 p.m. But the most likely time will be between 5 to 7. Do you see that? Really, really shows that. That's that red line. I'm going to zoom out so you can see the whole graphic at once. The next, you're going to see the wind threat. That's a little more likely, right? But not still off the charts. Remember, this is what we call the slight risk. Here's sunset. So sunset a little after 6 p.m. So anything after this is after dark. Here's a look at the wind threat that's in the solid blue line. And then the hail threat is the dashed green line. Hail is up to 2 out of 5. Wind is only 1 out of 5, 1 out of 5. So in terms of severe weather potential, this is a smaller threat. This is not a great, very, major risk, essentially, for severe weather. Fort Smith, you're going to see a little bit of a change. Look at how when I bounce back and forth between the two. Now you're seeing the most likely time for wind will be around 9 p.m. at night. Then it kind of drops off. The timing for hail runs anywhere from 2 p.m. all the way to about 10 p.m. With really not much certainty in terms of which probability is greater. Notice, though, the wind threat and the hail threat is a little bit higher at a 2. So now that you can see those two maps, really, really cool maps, and that really will help you understand the weather forecast a little bit better. Now let's go back to the graphics and take a look at the future radar, because this will break down the timing, and it all makes sense from what you saw with essentially that live stream. So here's what we've got on Wednesday night and into Thursday morning. So first of all, Wednesday morning, everything's kind of quiet, right, until about 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. And then, boom, an explosion of storms. And you can see those storms popping up across the area. And look, it becomes pretty widespread. Now, here's what I'm thinking. And this is why I think the tornado potential is looking pretty minimal. And I do believe that 2% will be shifted down. And the reason for that is cloud cover and rain and cooler temperatures. Look at this, 55, 57 in Anderson, Bentonville, Rogers, and upper 70s in Waldron. This is where the fuel and the moisture is for the storms. This is where it's been raining and storming. So honestly, if you ask me, I think Northwest Arkansas is going to escape and dodge a bullet on this one. Now, this isn't a major system, but it does bring widespread rain. And look at that. Thunderstorms moving into Scott County, Logan County, Sebastian County with temperatures a little warmer, mid to upper 70s. That's got some fuel, that's got some energy, and that's got some severe weather potential. Then as we go into our Tuesday, or should I say Wednesday afternoon, look at additional storms start popping up, including Wednesday evening. These are starting to train. At this point, the severe weather threat starts winding down, but now it's transitioning to more of a heavy rain and flash flooding threat. And then you see those storms continuing throughout Thursday morning into the afternoon, even the evening. So it's all about that southwest flow, right? here's a look at how active our weather pattern is. And this is going to be essentially pretty busy, man. Pretty busy. So let me show you this. This is the day one convective outlook. And by the way, I'm going to do this live stream until we get the new updated outlook for the Storm Prediction Center. Here's a look at the day two convective outlook. See how that shifts southeast and moves over us because of the front moving in. And then the day three convective outlook. Oh, you didn't see Fort Smith at all? Come on, you system. Man. Finicky. All right, let me go back to that. Fort Smith, share this tab instead. Force it to share an update. Can you get to see Fort Smith now? Thank you for that. I appreciate that. That was just a few seconds ago that comment came in. What I need to do, here's what I'm going to do from now on. I'm just going to share the entire window. But that is Fort Smith. That's Fayetteville. So let's go back to Fort Smith. Watch. You can see the time expanding, the slight risk expanding, meaning more of the time of the slight risk will occur for the River Valley. And that's because, just like you saw on the future radar, a lot of the storms are focused more in the Fort Smith area and in the River Valley. And that's because the temperatures are warmer. Sorry about that. I'm going to do some adjustments so we don't have to worry about that not showing what I'm trying to show. Let's go back to the graphics now and show you. On Thursday, the severe weather threat is off to the west. And then Thursday, look at this. This is the first large area of a SIG 1. Now, we actually adjusted these color tables. We adjusted the textures, did all that stuff. So if you zoom in, that is exactly what the Storm Prediction Center looks like. And that's called the SIG 1. The SIG 1 is essentially severe weather potential and significant severe weather potential. And look at how big that system is. So that's for Thursday, right? Well, that's the day 3 outlook. So in order to look at the day 4 outlook, we have to look at the different type of risks. Now, this is where the risks disappear in terms of the slight, moderate, enhanced, the marginal, slight, enhanced, moderate, high risk. Now you've got 15% and 30% essentially, but this is essentially a slight, and then this is an enhanced. There's no marginal for a day 4. That's a pretty large enhanced. That means many storms could in fact be severe. And as of now, here's the information that we have on that risk. So this is the day. Excuse me, hold on. I'm going to update this. The day 4 convective outlook. And let me look at this here. Where did that go? Maybe I have it over here. Here it is. Day 4 convective outlook as we bring up max 1. So severe weather threat is increasing. The timing is going to be Friday afternoon, at least at this point. Now, I think honestly, this timing might slow down a little bit. So there's a look at that severe weather threat. That does include a slight risk over our entire area. Now, the timing is uncertain because the energy kind of lags back a little bit on Friday, in my opinion. However, all conditions and all threats will be on the table for severe weather. All right. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do the giveaway. And we got 122 entries. If you are just tuning in and joining on, all you got to do is type in hashtag weather call, and that will allow you to win a possible free 1-year subscription. So, and then you can tell your friends about this. This is really, really cool. Look at this. We got Bobby Morris on here, the man, the myth, the legend, the ultimate tech repair guy for gym equipment, and the jack of all trades and a heck of a golfer too. So anyways, yeah, I was supposed to be small. The graph was supposed to be real big. I was small, just so you can kind of see me talking about it. But Bobby, how about that? Bobby Morris. No space, by the way. Hashtag weather call. We'll let you go a few more minutes here. And then we're going to show you some of the stuff that we're doing to improve and beef up our streams. So we're going to have some new stuff that will be able to get you very basically insightful information that will allow you to know what to expect, what's happening, and it gives you kind of information at your fingertips. So we'll demonstrate that real soon. And let's go ahead and do it here. Let's wait just one more minute, and then we're going to do that giveaway for Weather Call NextGen. Here we go. We got 135 entries that are going right now. So this is what we're having, and this is going to be essentially our giveaway. So we'll give it one more minute here. We'll wait till 11:11. 11:11. Hashtag weather call. Type that in the comments. All right, 11:11. Here we go. Drawing for names. And the winner of the Weather Call subscription is Richard Evans, Mr. Puffy Clouds. That was totally random. Thank you so much. And I don't need any introduction for you. Congratulations, Richard. Now, if you don't have the ability to, we're going to give, we have a couple more Weather Call NextGens that we'll be doing throughout the week, but I personally recommend that you get signed up. If you like it, we can also do some giveaways for having the next year for free. But congratulations, my nasty nose Evan. Almost got it. So congratulations to Richard. Again, appreciate you. I decided to pay and not wait. It's a really great service. And you might be wondering, well, how come I'm paying compared to everything else? It's because those call basically centers, they need to be I don't know how to say it, like basically the system, in order to call thousands of numbers in a second, can get overloaded with some of the others. And this will you don't even need the weather radio anymore. If you have it, it's great. It's a great source of information. I would still have it if you have one. If you don't, this will give you site-specific warnings going right to the warning box. And scan that QR code and you can get signed up for Weather Call NextGen. So now let's show you some of the stuff on the live stream, and then we'll do some comments and questions. And then after we're done with that, we'll shut down this Facebook Live and we'll get ready for storms tomorrow morning. We'll take a look at some other models as well. Friday, I'm not going to get into the weeds on that system, but we do know the energy is going to be stout. We know next week the system coming in looks pretty intense too for Tuesday into Wednesday. Ah, cool. How are the models for Friday? Trash. They're looking good somewhat. Honestly, they're a little far out. Because those high-res models don't really get to Friday. Now, the NAM 3 kilometer just barely gets there, but it's really not even worth it. Now, the European does, in fact, and I want to show you here that there's definitely going to be some storms on Friday. Friday, this looks pretty intense. You can see that energy moving in, and this is Friday afternoon. So, obviously, a lower resolution model compared to the HRRR, but it shows a lot of storms, and look at that. That's 850 southwesterly flow. So the shear is going to be there for tornado potential if all the things can fall in line. Then the system comes through Saturday morning, clears out, probably not a whole lot of rain Saturday into Sunday, but look at this energy coming in on Tuesday. A lot of upper level support. And you're going to see here, look at the southwesterly 850 winds, and then a dramatic shift in those winds as this big time energy comes in. And so that's going to show you a 9 a.m. Wednesday, and then look at this colder air wrapping around, dark blues showing up. So that's going to be some chilly, chilly weather. Okay, so some questions here, and we'll get to those in just a bit. But I want to show you again the future radar. We'll look at the graph. We'll look at the HRRR. Let's start off with the HRRR in case you haven't seen this before. This will give you an idea of the timing. And again, we showed those severe weather risks as well. If you missed it earlier, you can go back and look at the live stream. So here's Wednesday morning into the afternoon. There's the shower and storm activity popping up. I'd say as early as 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. And then you'll notice as we go into the late morning into the afternoon, more storms popping up. Now notice the temperatures, 76 in Waldron, but mid to upper 50s in the Northwest Arkansas area. That is going to limit the strong severe weather potential, but more severe weather potential farther south. Then as we get into Wednesday evening, more storms popping up, and that will be mainly focused in the River Valley, and that goes all the way through the night and into into Thursday morning. You know what? We're going to have to get some merch. We're gonna get some merch. We're gonna make some. That's true. It can weaken if it's out ahead. There's a lot of energy moving in, but the energy's subtle. So I always like to say it's the small stuff that makes the big stuff happen. And here's a look at the precipitation amounts too, by the way. Then we'll check out the 7-day. I'll break down all of that, and then we'll look at some other stuff. So here's a look at the precipitation forecast. Look at that, up to 5+ inches of rain in the River Valley. That's where the training is. So a lot of stuff coming through. I don't think it's going to be earlier, honestly. I think Friday is going to be later because it's kind of hanging out. It's a positively tilted trough. It's kind of has additional energy swinging out, but I think that risk is going to be Friday evening into the late evening hours. So we're talking after sundown, unfortunately for us. Oklahoma will be earlier, but for us, it'll be a little bit later. Let's show you that 7-day forecast. So here's what we've got. Northwest Arkansas, your forecast is calling for storms, and a lot of them. Don't forget, too, daylight saving time, Saturday night into Sunday morning. Flip those clocks ahead an hour. No breaks from the storms as we get into next week. Now, we might see a break Sunday and Monday, but there's still some energy that can provide some rain. Severe weather is on the horizon, though. It'll be breezy on Friday. There's the energy coming in. More severe storms possible. A River Valley forecast, we're looking at temperatures in the upper 70s to lower 80s, and then Saturday and Sunday, upper 60s to lower 70s. So, okay, hold on just a second here. I'm going to bring up something real fast. So again, I'm going to bring up the timing of this again, just to let you know what we've got. Okay. So there's a look at the timing of this severe weather threat as I add this to the stage. There you get to see it. Yeah, we got to make that automatically add. I think having it needing to pop up, we need to change that. So there's a look at the timing, and notice the tornado potential is very low. The wind threat is greater, and the hail threat is the most likely threat. I love these graphics. I think they really tell the story. I think it really breaks down the timing for you. It shows you when the greatest probability of what threat is what, and also the level as well. So this is mainly in the River Valley of Fort Smith area, wind and hail driven. Tornado is basically the marginal. And then you go to Fayetteville's tab, and you'll see one for tornado and wind, and this is mainly hail driven for the Fayetteville area and Northwest Arkansas. And it starts ramping up during the late morning and especially during the afternoon. So yes, there could be some storms in the morning, but pretty tame, honestly, in terms of the severe potential. We'll continue to watch that. Okay, guys, here's what we've got. It's time to show you our beefed up stream. Are you guys ready to see what we've got cooking for live weather coverage? So there's a lot of stuff that's happening. We got a new open, by the way, that's going to basically amp you up and get ready to go to battle, especially for us. But I want to make sure that all right, so this is called stream and beefed up mode, if you will. So check this out. Number one, we've got a warning bug that's on the bottom right. And what this does is this tells you if there's any type of warnings, the current warnings that are in effect. I'll just let someone behind the scenes kind of show you all this stuff. So there's this severe weather potential, and we also have submit your live photo. So there you get to see that QR code. This will allow you to snap that, and you can go to essentially submit your photos and videos through our photo submission page. You can also become the pick of the day. And then you can download our Weather Authority app for storms and severe weather. But let's kind of show you here a test warning. Now, this is not a current warning. This is a test warning, but it'll give you an idea. You can see them cleaning the studio on the back. Lilia? Is that Lilia? No, it's not Lilia. Oh, where's Lilia? Mexico. Okay, I got you. Oh. All right, so here comes a test warning. Now, this is just a test, just to let you know. It's not a real. So there's the severe thunderstorm warning. Now, I want to know, did you guys hear sound on that? Test warning, no action needed, but it shows you the warning, and it shows the strong thunderstorm. Now, was there sound on that? Don't know if there was sound. Let us know in the comments. Okay, we'll have to work on that again. Don't know why there wasn't sound on that. Can you add one with sound? Okay, now we got, as you can see, another test warning. And this is a test warning for you can see so we're going to add a test tornado warning. Let's say a warning is going to happen. Not a real warning, just kind of let you know. So whenever you launch the stream, you'll be able to see what warning is in effect. This is a test tornado warning. I don't know why we're getting sound. That's interesting. We had it before, now we don't. So maybe because we've got that, and then I don't know. That's interesting. Wonder why we're not having sound. But anyways, it gives you the information. Now, we also have a counter, too, where you can see the amount of storms that are in progress. You can also see how many severe thunderstorm warnings are there. Yeah, thanks for letting us know on the alerts. I thought we had animation, but we'll take that. So now you can see the warning tracker. You got one tornado warning that's currently in effect. All right, let's say we've got storms that are starting to move in. Here comes a new severe thunderstorm warning. These are all tests, by the way. There's a test warning. Notice how the tornado warning is blinking. So that shows you that that's where the warning is. And then you got flash flood warnings. And so just keep cleaning. I know, exactly. So test warnings. Crawl's bigger. It's moving slower. You can see at the top of the screen, you got one tornado, one severe thunderstorm, one flash flood warning. I know. Do you want me to move so you can mop?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, here, I'll move right here and you can get this area right in here. What's your name?
Angelina.
Jelena?
Yes.
Okay. Angelina or just Jelena?
Angelina.
Angelina.
Yes.
Okay. Angelina.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Buenos noches. Yeah, I don't know why the sound's not working. So, well, we'll work on that. Huh. Now we're deleting those warnings. So we've got also another thing too. We've got the scophometer, the weather score. We're going to look at the weather score. So this kind of gives you an idea of the intensity and the threat for thunderstorms. So if there's a lot of thunderstorm warnings, you're going to notice the weather conditions. And if a warning gets issued, this warning meter is going to kind of start climbing up. So let's say we're starting to get a line and you're wondering, oh, what's the danger of these storms? Right now, everything's to the west, but you know, it's starting to increase a little bit. Then you're going to notice the warning threshold that is on the basically right in the middle, and it shows the level of where the warning threshold will be seen. So it's just a little over 70. And now look at that. You hit severe thunderstorm warning and boom, immediately now the warning tracker showing we got the weather condition score and it shows that the severe weather potential is definitely on the increase. So don't roll over the cleaned area. I had to. This is all stuff that we're basically implementing for the live stream. So let's say you're jumping on, and then we can also do some other fun stuff too. Like we can essentially show a bunch of stuff in terms of, webcams. We got iDrive Arkansas cameras. We also have iDrive. Will implement a radar as well. So some stuff there, but not knowing what's going on with essentially the sound. Oh, maybe let's see here something. There we go. We're still having some bugs that we have to work on. I think the sound went out on some of those scenes because we don't have the sound layer in there. But all right, guys. Well, that kind of wraps it up. So to sum it up, we've got storms tomorrow morning. Mainly, I would say around 9, 10 o'clock. And then we'll see additional storms as we move throughout the afternoon. Northwest Arkansas is probably not going to see as much storms. Look, we've got the severe scoff tyometer too. So that kind of lets you know. Remember how you were wondering, kind of hard to read? Now you can definitely see the levels as the tyometer kind of lets you know what's going on. So you'll see the tie that's wearing. What's this question here? Does forecast still put past year to date history, or do satellite changing do that? We can still do past history and all that stuff, but oh yeah, you're right. I am going to stay on till the SPC issues their risk. Hopefully they don't wait till midnight, but yeah, you're right. We do need to stay on for that. I'll get the notification when they update. I get it immediately. So we'll stay on for that. The tyometer. I know, exactly. So we're going to have different ties, and that's going to kind of tell you how, I don't know, the cleaning crew is legit. They're going all out here. Love it. That is a good question. I do believe so. I think the rain over the next week and a half is going to be drop busting. Time to kill time with the magic 8 ball. That's a good point. We could do that. Why do meteorologists use knots instead of miles per hour for wind measurements? That's a good question. Knots is kind of the typical standard. And so just kind of like a metric system, if you will, 50 knots, 58 miles per hour. I think it's a little bit even. Instead of 58, you have 50 knots. Also, too, you got boaters that use knots. And just to let you know, it's like 1.2 knots per miles per hour, I want to say, per mile per hour. So let's see, 1 knot per mile per hour. Let's see. Yeah, 1.15, excuse me. As I said 1.2, but I mean, that's rounding up. 1.15 to be exact. So 50 knots, 58 miles per hour, 25 knots, you got about 30 miles per hour. That kind of gives you an idea. Do I need to be worried about hail for tomorrow morning? I think the hail threat is going to be limited tomorrow morning. We can look at the graph model and see what that shows and see the latest risk on that. Oh, Storm Prediction Center issuing an MCD, a brand new mesoscale discussion. And that is for out west. So storms are starting to pop. How about that? Let's take a look, though, at the graph model. We'll do the graph 3 kilometer. So this only updates just a little bit. So let's do this. Max 2. Max 1. There we go. Looking at the future track. So notice not a whole lot of storm activity, but then it starts ramping up as that energy moves in. And this just doesn't look hailish to me, honestly. I mean, yeah, there might be some small hail, but I'm not thinking anything big, especially over quarter size. Could be some dime size hail at the biggest. I think the better potential for hail is going to be later on. Yeah, I think Friday will go enhanced. It's already basically enhanced now, William. So that is a great question, but Friday will definitely go enhanced. Here's a look at the graph model again. So let's go to here. Let's go to weather producer scenes, and let's bring up weather producer 1. Bring up the camera. So this is the future track, and you're going to see some showers and storms popping up Wednesday morning.
New severe thunderstorm warning.
There we go. Now we got some audio. I know you heard that. Let me know if you heard that sound. This is just a test. Just a test. There's a look at Wednesday afternoon, evening, storms popping up. But look at that in the River Valley. Temperature's still pretty cool, though. Upper 50s, lower 60s. That's just not going to be doing much. Okay. I got you.
New severe thunderstorm warning. Tornado possible.
These are all tests. So if people are freaking out, we're just kind of showing you how this works. So this will be in the middle of, while we're doing coverage, and boom, it's immediately going to tell you that we have a severe thunderstorm warning. You'll also see, too, that we've got a warning that will pop up on Max as well, and it'll say the same thing. We're going to see which one's faster, by the way. There's a look at Thursday, pretty quiet, and then Friday, look at that. Friday evening doesn't really show much at all. I believe that, too, because I think the energy is going to be a little delayed for Friday, if you ask me. So I think I might have to adjust weather rate, honestly. I had storms for severe on here's a wide out view. There's Friday. Yeah, see, it's still out there. And look at this. You've got essentially westerly winds all the way out here. Here's the dry line. So Friday is going to be pretty late. It might even go into Friday night into Saturday morning, honestly. You can do some more test warnings if you want in the background. Let's take a look at let's look at the NAM 3 kilometer. So the NAM 3 kilometer doesn't go out far enough, but we'll take a look here at the wider view of the NAM 3 kilometer. So this is the rain and storms coming in tomorrow morning. Rain is looking very likely late morning into the afternoon. We don't want it to blow out your eardrums, but it's a good idea to have a little bit of audio.
New flash flood warning.
Yeah, I don't see much. Let me go to the NAM 20 kilometer, see what we got on this. So there's the storm activity, which is terrible resolution. You see how low that resolution is? And then look, it really doesn't create storms until basically Friday night into Saturday morning. Yep, I'm gonna take actually the severe out of weather rate for Friday because I think it's slower. I think the system's slowing down, and I only got a limited time to do that. So let me go ahead and jump in here and enter forecast. Pull this out here. Not going severe tomorrow. I'm not going severe on Friday. Saturday morning, I think it's going to be too late. I think it's overnight Friday into Saturday morning. So I am changing that forecast. And with it being slower, I think rain sticks around a little longer on Saturday. So the system's slower. Is that good for Friday? Well, it's good for us. The weather will be nice. That means baseball will be able to get in, no problem. And the severe weather potential really doesn't happen on on Friday afternoon, evening for us. Let me show you what I'm talking about, by the way, with the slowed down system. So, oh, I know, poor little guy. You know that Caleb, it is kind of la la land, but let me show you what is going to happen with essentially the jet stream. So I'm going to take the camera off the screen on this one. And you're going to see, first of all, there's the energy coming in on Friday. Big old dip. But if you know weather, and if you see me do weather forecasts long enough, guess what? This is a positively tilted trough. So if you were to slice this trough in half, it runs from bottom left to upper right. That is a slow system. Positively tilted troughs just really do not move in really quickly. So if there's a severe weather threat, it's going to be late Friday night into Saturday morning. Then as we go into Tuesday, this is where the energy starts merging. That's a big time dip in the jet stream. So I'm thinking like Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, a lot of energy moving in. That could be severe right there, especially with jet coupling. Yeah, I don't know about 4 out of 5. That seems a little much. I could see an enhanced risk. I could definitely see a SIG 1 for tornado potential, which would be EF2 or greater. But there's a lot of ingredients that have to come together, Bradley. But you know, it's a ways out. So what's 12 a.m. in the Z's? That's a good question, Caitlin. This is actually a question I think we can answer right now. So when daylight saving time is not in effect, which is right now, until basically next Sunday, then we kick in daylight saving time, and then I have to wait till 1 a.m. for the new risk to come out, which probably won't happen. So basically, 12Z. The question is what's 12 a.m. in Z? It is going to be 00Z. That's 12 a.m. is 00Z, meaning it's the new day, right? So you flip the day on the calendar, and that's why in 0Z the date advances a day. However, we have to subtract 6 hours when you're not in daylight saving time. So 0Z, which is midnight in England, Greenwich, England, you subtract 6 hours from that, you get 6 p.m. So 0Z for us is 6 p.m. 12Z, which is noon in England, you subtract 6 hours from that, military time, and you get 6 a.m. So the convective outlook for the Storm Prediction Center runs from 12Z the day of to 12Z the next day. So that's 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. next Monday or Sunday afternoon, essentially. Then it'll be 7 a.m. to 7 a.m. because now you subtract 5 because we'll be 1 hour ahead with daylight saving time. So we're 5 hours behind England. It gets confusing, but that's how that works. For us, our time, 12 a.m. is 6Z because it's 6 a.m. there. You subtract 12 hours. Exactly, Daniel. 5Z would be 11. So the convective outlook gets updated approximately around 0Z. And guess what? They just updated it. All right. So they updated the risk. We just got the new update. Let's take a look. Without further ado, this is exciting. The new convective outlook. It's going to be the day one, and they expanded the slight risk. So let's check it out. Take the camera off the screen. We can move around. So there it is, level 2 out of 5. It covers basically our entire weather coverage area. That is a very large slight, level 2 out of 5. Let's take a look at the individual risks. The tornado threat, aha. See how they cropped it out and pushed it a little bit southeast? So now you got the tornado risk that's a little bit farther southeast. Now something's weird here. This doesn't look like the right. I have to update this. There we go. I updated the color. See how it's kind of a little more muted? No SIG. So that means EF2, EF3, EF4 not happening. Wind, it's probably going to be on the low end. Notice how that's in northwest Arkansas. It's on the low end. You go farther southeast, you have stronger storms. Hail potential, no SIGs. So this is a low end severe weather threat. So 7Z is 7 a.m. Subtract 6, that would be 1 a.m. for us. So we're always 6 hours behind unless it's daylight saving time. This morning, Josh said that this Friday's the slower the system, the better. He said if it slows down, it won't be as severe. Is that true? Yeah, because there won't be any storms, Brendan. If it's so slow that there's no storms that pop up, then yeah, that would be a lack of severe weather for us. That also means too that the storms will be more intense out west during peak heating, and by the time they come in here, typically they can weaken. Yeah, so that's the new risk. The day 2 risk is still the slight risk. So we can actually see the changes if you want to check this out. So let's bring up Max 1 again. So here we have the day 2 convective outlook, and then watch the day 1. See how it expanded a little bit? You can see that slight risk lifting northeastward. The day 2 tour to the day 1 tour really didn't change at all. So they didn't crop anything out. The only thing they did is expanded a little bit more across western Kentucky. The day 1 wind, the previous day 1 wind was this, and really didn't change much. Maybe shrunk down to 5% near Little Rock. And then the day 2 hail to the day 1 hail, they actually shifted that to the northwest. That does kind of make sense. Yep, burns off the energy if the system is slower. Yeah, and Bradley, we can know that's exactly what it is because we come back to this. Let's see if they update these risks now. Doesn't look like it. I'm going to show you something here. We're going to share screen. So here's the risk timing, and you can see what's basically driving the risk. It's hail for Fayetteville, and tornado and wind is marginal. So it's not even in the level 2 risk. Then we go to Fort Smith. We share that tab. And then you get to see that, yeah, I haven't released the flavor text. Yeah, so I'll have to look at the mesoscale discussion. But there's the risk. Notice the timing. Pretty good stuff. I think it could be a shelf cloud, but honestly, it's going to be more of a cluster. So I'm not sold on it. It could be in the morning, actually, a pretty decent shelf cloud with that front coming in. So that'll be something to watch. Okay, guys, well, guess what? That's the risk. We watched it. Weather Call NextGen. Congratulations again to Richard Evans. We'll share this tab. Richard Evans is a winner of Weather Call NextGen 1-year subscription. Richard, I know how to get a hold of you. I will get you this code. If you have any questions, you can log it in. But again, I would definitely recommend to getting on Weather Call NextGen. So we'll do the 8 ball later. I eventually got to go home, and I got a busy day ahead tomorrow. Again, a lower end severe weather threat. Don't believe everything you hear about, this storm system going bonkers. Tomorrow is really not. It's a low end severe weather threat. Now, do I think it's still storms and rains and possibly heavy rain and flooding? Yes, absolutely. The day 3 will get interesting. I think we'll have an enhanced risk. I think we'll have a large hatched area. We already have a hatched area too, which is the first day 3 SIG 1. And there it is right there. The probabilistic 15% with a hatch that goes all the way up into South Nebraska. And then we look at the individual threat, and you'll see there it is. A large slight risk. All right, I'm gonna get some sleep, Lone Wolf Tom. But Lone Wolf Tom, yeah, we got some stuff that we're cooking up on this on the live stream. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. We do have a couple more Weather Call NextGen subscriptions that we'll be doing throughout the week for Severe Weather Awareness Week. Tomorrow's topic, by the way, is tornadoes, and we're going to talk more about that in Severe Weather Awareness Week. Don't forget, don't miss Leslie Castro's Beyond the Forecast. That's on 479 First. That's a podcast. You can find it by going to knwa.com. You can also download 479 First on your smart TV, Apple, Roku, Amazon Fire, all those streaming platforms. 479, the number 479, like the area code, and then the word first, FIRST. That will get you to Beyond the Forecast, where Leslie will talk all about that stuff. Dan, sorry, forgot to put the N. Oh, no worries. Have a good night, Dan. Da. What time, Dan, for the tornado lecture? We'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll talk about tornadoes. We'll go deep into the weeds on that if the storms are out of here by then. Take care, guys. God bless. Have a good one. Thank you for watching. And again, we've got you covered for severe weather. We are going to do some amazing things, keeping you updated and giving you the information that you need to keep your family safe.